Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to today's Ramayan's class. And as we were discussing in the previous class about what are the effects on our surroundings, on our atmosphere when Kali Yuga enters, and the sages are discussing on that matter. And in the next verse, the sage say, Vachalascha bhavishyanti kalau prayena yoshitaha bhikshavaschapi mitradi sneha sambandha yadrita. So the sages are saying to Sage Sutta that as you discussed to us, that everybody, most of the people, would become more and more talkative. And as I was telling you the previous day, that when a person talks much, he's much more susceptible. He becomes much more exposed to talking unnecessary things. He becomes much more susceptible to talking irregular things, bad things, the things that are not applicable, that are not good for himself as well as the people that he is talking to. But he takes a taste in that. He becomes addicted to that talk, and hence this talkativeness brings a person down. And when a person overtalks, look, when a person leads his life in a careful manner, in a way, in a good, definite manner, then he has no much time to talk unnecessary things to other people, with other people. It only happens when a person shifts away, relegates himself from his mainstream work, and then spends his time in talking and goofing around in the community and just getting spoiled and spoiling other people. Because how we spoil people, how we spoil others is thoughts. The thoughts that generate in us, we just blur them out through our mouth, and that thought takes a shape in other person's head when it gets into it. And that shape-taken thought becomes his action. So that's why it is said that never talk irregular things, never talk fake, never talk illegal works, never talk about anyone's mistakes even. You have no right to cast any sort of bad things into anyone's mind. So never talk bad things about anyone. And it only happens when you talk much, when you talk unnecessary things, when you don't do our works and just goof around, just think of any way, just gallivant around and think of the way that we could free ourselves from being bored. Not doing your work, just relegating yourself from your work, spending your times in carelessness is the root cause of all these dangers that occur in our lives. So the sages are saying that in Kali Yuga, when bad thoughts, bad actions, bad evil things appear and make a home in person's mind and entire body, what happens? He starts getting away from his own duties and how he spends his time talking to other people. And not only talking to other people, but talking bad with other people. And when we become bad, as I told yesterday, that whole horde of bad people just get attracted towards us. As we are, we attract the strength, the powers which are completely equal with the powers that we have in ourselves. So that's why it is so many times described and suggested in our scriptures that always keep positive thoughts. Today, whole of the world, today this sentence gets a huge importance. Think positive. Why has this word, why has this phrase come up? Anything only happens when there is a scarcity of that thing. We have learned to preserve water. We have learned to not disturb our atmosphere. Why? Because there came in a scarcity of water. We have polluted our water systems, our water bodies, rivers, channels, lakes and oceans, seas, so much that today clear water, clean water, fresh water is so much scarce in amount. So now we have made phrases, save water, save lives, this, that, third, and fourth. The same way, we talk about not disturbing our atmosphere, not polluting our atmosphere. Why? Because now, after polluting it from centuries, from decades, now we have gotten to the point that icebergs are falling down, Antarctica is melting down, and now we are expressing our opinions, our thoughts, our anxieties in forms of phrases that says, never, don't pollute this ecosystem, don't disturb this ecosystem, don't disturb Mother Nature. This way, whenever there is a scarcity of anything, we understand the importance of that thing. In the same way, I want to tilt my talk towards another phase of life that children, as a kid, most of the children usually don't take the advice of their parents, mother and father. Why? Because they don't think they are saying the right thing, and they are completely encased with their own thoughts, that they don't think whatever their parents are saying is good to them. Initially, whatever our parents say to us, that is the most important thing, that is the best thing that could happen, that could be advised in our lives. But the same boy, the same person, when he becomes adult, and he is completely covered with this tangled life, and when his parents are not with him, he understands the importance of the things, of the talks, of the thoughts that they wanted to give to him. Then he understands. So do good jobs when there is time for it to do it. That's what this Vachalasya. This is not only about talking much, this is about living this life the fullest way you can. And when you don't live your life fullest, this entire life becomes a talk. Like anyone talking anyway. You just work anyway, anywhere. Any action you commit, you don't feel any responsibility of yourself as a human being, as a creature, as a creation of the God, and you just spend your days like you're just here on the earth to spend your days like animals. But there is no difference between an animal and a human being if you don't apply your intellect, your knowledge to uplift yourself. Ahara nidra bhayamaithanam cha samanyam etat pashubhirnaranam dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubhih samana. So our scriptures describe it in a comprehensive way, that animals and human beings are all equal if there is no dharma in human beings. Ahar, we take food, animals take food. Humans take food to raise their body, to provide good nutrients to their body. Animals too take their food. And nidra, they too sleep. Humans too sleep. We all sleep and animals also sleep. Take slumber. Bhaya, whenever there is any sort of fear that appears in our life, we get feared up. We get freaked out. Animals too fly away, run away from anywhere, any sort of thing that the sea is fearful. Deer gets chased by a pack of coyotes, and when it outruns the coyotes, it becomes natural. So that's why this is the same things that happen in animals and human beings. Animals reproduce. Human beings too reproduce. Everything is equal. Why are we called the best creation? Because we have the power of intellect. We have the power to understand good things and bad things. We have the power to create our own fate. No animal has ever gotten the power or would ever get the power to create his own fate and make this earth the way he wants to be. We can turn this entire earth completely healthy in one day, and we can turn this entire earth completely full of sick people in one day. We can destroy, obliterate this entire earth in one day with nuclear destruction. But on the same hand, we can turn this earth just like a heaven. I've not seen how heaven looks like, but I feel when all the people on this earth become good people, that's what the description of heaven is. When every person thinks for everyone, when he never remains self-centered, when there is idea and feeling that pervades in everyone about oneness, harmony, brotherhood, coexistence, when there is no boundaries of countries, when there is only one world, only one country, and that is Earth, then I could say that is Earth has turned a heaven. This is the properties, this is the description of heaven, how a heaven looks like, how a heaven feels like. And I was talking about people, that everything is equal in us and in animals. The only thing that differs us from animals is our intellect, is the power to think, to feel, to understand things and act upon them as required in a lovely way. So that's what the sages are saying. In Kali Yuga, the people lack all these things, and it's our duty to tilt away from any irregularity that is occurring in our lives, in our community, in anywhere. And always lift yourselves up and help people. Lifting themselves up is the utmost responsibility of ours as a human being. And then what they say? Bhikshavaschapi mitradi sneha sambandh yantritaha. And now they are speaking about we people, the monks. And how would the monks turn in Kali Yuga? What happens when Kali Yuga enters a monk's mind? You'd ask, wait a minute, this Kali Yuga also enters a monk's mind? How could this happen? He has completely turned away, he has completely bifurcated himself from this world, from this materialism. How could Kali Yuga pose its tendencies on a human being? And how could Kali Yuga impose itself on a human being, on a monk? And the answer is, before becoming anything, before turning ourselves into anything, someone is engineer, someone is doctor, someone has turned himself into a monk, and someone is a teacher. Everything we become, but before becoming anything, first of all, we are a human being. So always take in mind that unless you understand this reality of yourselves, that first of all, everyone is a human being before anything that you have turned yourselves into, then you can understand how this Kali Yuga, how these bad habits affect a person. If it affects a human being, it doesn't take over, it doesn't look what a person is, what work he does. Whenever a person becomes careless, whenever a person stops caring for himself, his activities, his emotions, his actions, at the same time, right away, then and there, Kali Yuga attacks him and takes upon him, whoever he is. So it's the advice to everyone, whether he's monk, whether he is anything else working in the world, whether he's a spiritual person, whether he is anything outer than spirituality like working in the world, whoever he is, always care for yourselves. Because if you are good, if you are happy in yourselves, you can shower happiness on everybody else. Look, whatever we have, we are only able to give things that we have in ourselves. If we have money, then only we could help anyone else with money. If we have water, then only we could quell the thirst of anyone, any thirsty person or animal. If we have food, then only we could eat the person who is hungry, who is full of appetite. And in the same way, if we have happiness in ourselves, we can make the other people happy. We can make the world a happier place. In the same way, if we have assimilated, if we have just accumulated, amassed all the trashes in us, emotional trash, spiritual trash, like feelings of hatred, hate, beating anyone, violence, how could we pour love in this world, having those feelings in ourselves? So whatever a person occupies in him, the same thing he's gonna give this world and nourish this world with that. Whatever we have, we give that thing. So always occupy good habits in your lives. Only then it could apply those habits in the world. You'd say, no problem. I have the responsibility of my life. If I am a broken person, if I am a disturbed person, if I am a disoriented person from good habits in life, no problem. I'm not creating any bad efforts, any bad work in my society, in my country, in this world. No, it doesn't occur this way. Anyway, one way or the other, you are affecting every person in this world, every element in this world. So take care of yourselves. That's why good people, wise people, intelligent people say, take care of yourselves first. It's your right. It's your duty to take care of yourselves. And when you understand how to take care of yourselves, when you start taking care of yourselves, you inadvertently, you start taking care of other people too. So that's why human body is the greatest thing that we could achieve in our lives. Do not disturb it. Do not let this opportunity go away just casually. Take care of yourselves, and then only you could turn this world into the world that you want to be. Who is a person who doesn't want to live in a community full of good people? Who is the person who doesn't want to live in a community of people who care for him? Who is the person who doesn't want to live in a community where he gets every emotion, good emotions? Whenever a person says, you're a good person, you're a lovely person, you have good emotions. Whenever a person appreciates you, what do you feel in yourself? You feel contentment. You feel gratefulness towards that person. Is the nature of human body, of your emotion, of your heart. So never kill your emotions. Never kill your inert emotions, your inert abilities, your inert voice, your internal expressions. Never kill them. You are a human being, and the basic desire of human being is to spread all the sorts of happiness in this world. And when you start taking a step towards it, you'd see good powers, divine powers, spiritual powers, positive powers, whatever way you call it, come rushing towards you to help you, making this world a better place. You would understand it only when you only when you attempt one step closer, one step forward in that way. First thing has to be done by you. And next, what happens? All these positive forces, godly forces, divine forces, spiritual forces, come rushing towards you with much greater speed than you could ever fathom about. So you become a good person. It's your responsibility, it's your life, and everything depends on you. How you carve your life, how you mold your life. Alright? Only then the good things would come in and scatter all around in this world from you and from your lives. And so what I was talking about, that in Kali Yuga, when this Kali Yuga enters anyone's mind, be it a monk or any other person, it affects him the same way it affects a materialistic person. That's why it is said that monks need to be even more concerned about their activities, how they are working, how they are living, how they're eating, how they're walking, and how they're talking, how they're watching, how they're hearing. Every organs of a monk should be in complete discipline. I have lived this life. I'm living this life past 8 years, and now I have come to the conclusion that this life is the life of discipline, utmost discipline from all sources. How you look at things, how you watch the things gives other people an inspiration. How you walk, how you talk, how you eat your food gives an inspiration to other people. That look, this is the person who has segregated himself from all the worldly materialistic things, and now however way he lives, that is the ideal part of human being. So we as a monk has the greatest responsibility in initially Indian community. We have gotten the greatest responsibility to live in the society in a way that always uplifts anyone, never downsizes anyone's life. So whenever any person acquiring this monkness in him does any good thing, the whole world becomes aromatic, and it's his duty, it's his right, it's his life as well. What is a monk's life? To help people, to worry for the welfare of the people and work for them, understanding, taking an impression, and not only understanding, just looking at other people as a form of God. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasya ham na pranashyami sacha me na pranashyati is the narration of Gita, where Sri Krishna says, anyone who sees me, who watches me in every person, that is the person that is most loved by me. So it is the duty of not only monk, it is the duty of every person, every human being on this earth, to look everyone as God. See the presence of God in everyone, and it is. No person can thrive on this planet, no person can live a single moment on this earth without having a soul in his body. And that soul is the form of God. That soul, God lives in your body. So everyone understands this. With this emotion, with this feeling in mind, I feel and I pray to God that every person on this earth understands his life, his duties, his rights, and himself first. Only then you'd be able to turn yourself in a good person. And it's the greatest work of life, believe it or not, understand it or not, make it clear or not. It is the life's greatest thing that you become a human being. And then whatever you become the greatest. First become a human being, and then whatever you turn into would be the greatest achievement of your life. So today, we are ending this class here, and take care of yourself as a human being, because you have the responsibility in your lives to turn yourself into a good person, into good women and men and brothers and sisters, and turn this world a happier place. Thank you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti